evening and a hearty welcome. Our keynote speaker today is His Holiness Swami Mitrananda of Chinmaya Mission, a vibrant disciple of Pujya Swami Chinmayanand. To chair the session, we have Sri C.K. Suresh, Founder Director of ATMA Foundation. May I extend a hearty welcome to Sri C.K. Suresh. We have with us here a Swami who embodies dynamism in its fullest expression, deeply rooted in spiritual wisdom. His Holiness Swami Mitrananda. With great joy and even greater respect, may I humbly welcome Swami Mitrananda.
Thank you, Parvati. Vivek Swamiji and dear friends, Hari Om salutations. Today, I am more happy and consider it as a great privilege to have one of the most active disciples of Swamiji, Swami Mitrananda, in this national seminar. My heartfelt gratitude to Swami Mitrananda, my Guru Bhai, a long-time friend, guide, and teacher, for being present in this seminar today. Let us listen to Swamiji. Welcome.
Hari Om. Salutations to everybody. I am extremely happy that I could be with you today. I have heard my Guru, Swami Chinmayanand telling that when he was in States, when he used to visit almost every year for a month or two, he'll work in the United States. And there was one guy by name John. And this person, whenever Gurudev crosses the road, let us say on the signal or something, when he has to cross, this man crossing over the road, he would say, "Hi, Swami, how do you do? Hi, Swami, how do you do?" And these guys have a way of saying hi. They say it as hi. Hi, Swami, how do you do? Hi, how do you do? So Gurudev said beautifully that this guy is wonderful. He keeps reminding me what I should do. Every time he meets me, he says, "Hi, how do you do? You have such a high aim, such a high goal. How do you do? Where are you to that goal which you have aspired? Where are you? Hi." So this topic, high five for high living, came from this anecdote which Gurudev shared. That someone used to call him Hi, and he converted that into Hi. Hi, how are you doing? Hi. Let's aim high. Let's aim high living. So what is this high five for high living? There are 5 beautiful things the ancient wisdom tells us. Bringing it into our life would help us live this high living. Generally, people want a good standard of living only. But good standard of living comes nice, and it would be better when we have good standard of life. So high living, what I mean is rise the standard of life so that the living, the quality is high, not just the material, but how we conduct ourselves. So what is the 5 points? High five, we say 5, no, high five. 5 points for high living. This is called Pancha Mahayajna. Traditionally, conventional knowledge systems called it Pancha Mahayajna, meaning 5 yajnas which we need to perform daily. These 5, if we perform, our life goes very well. Now, don't get unnecessarily, perturbed or difficult to understand the word yajna. Yajna is a beautiful word, where in yajna means we come together and drop whatever little bit what we can do for a common good. So coming together, working for a common good is called a yajna. That's what it is. So coming together and living a good quality life is a yajna. So what are those 5 points? The first one here is Manushya yajna. Manushya yajna. Manushya, human beings. We have a duty towards our fellow beings. We must look at people around us and do. And the best way to live, my Guru, Swami Chinmayanand, Gurudev used to always say, Best relationship we can have with people is with love and respect. Any relationship with the world around us, in whichever world we live, the people around us, there, if we can connect with people with love and respect, we will have a very nice relationship, and living would be beautiful. Only love, relationship will still be good. Only respect, relationship will still be fine. Both together, it will be the most beautiful thing. In any relationship, if we have both, we connect to each other with love and respect, we would cherish that relationship. It would be a delight to be in that companionship where there is love and respect. So if it is within the family, in the place where you work, when we generate this love and respect, that is called Manushya Yajna. Looking at other people and generating this love and respect, and we work around with that. When love and respect becomes the ambience of our workplace or of our home, the potential in us naturally flows. This ambience is very important. For humans to live their life to the full potential, we need to create this ambience of love and respect. Once we have this love and respect, the potential in us naturally comes out. It comes into performance effortlessly. So this is something which we need to keep in mind. There was a monastery. One monk, a senior monk, was heading it, and after some time, his health was letting down. He was not that good. So he called a friend of him who studied with him, a Guru Bhai, from a long distance journey. He said, "You come here. I'm getting weak. I think you should come and look at what you can guide when I leave this place." So his friend, who was heading another monastery, said, "Okay, I'll just come and see what you're doing." So he came. And he found the monastery to be very, very beautiful, very vibrant. There were so many people coming, and everything about that was like evening, the temple, the prayer hall, everything was fully packed, and people really loved that whole thing. And this man said, "There is nothing to guide. You have done perfect job." And he said, "Okay." And then he went. His friend left. After some time, few weeks later, this old senior monk died. Now, the monastery doesn't have a head. There were other monks and other devotees were all living, but there was no one person to head it. And between them, there was some kind of bitterness, some kind of, a kind of a hatred. People were not cherishing each other's companionship. They were not cherishing, and it was bad. So when it was something like that, it was not really coming out well. One of the monks said, "I think we should call our guru's friend. I think we should call him, and he should come here and see. And probably he'll guide," because now even the people who were regularly coming, the regular visitors, etc., have withdrawn and they're not coming. So they called the senior monk, a friend of his, and he came there. He came and he saw the ashram, he saw the monastery, he saw the people, and he understood what was wrong there. And he did not guide them too much. And he said, "Listen, one of you here, one of the disciples of my friend, one of the disciples is enlightened. He is as enlightened as your guru. He is just not revealing himself. One day he will reveal himself. He is just playing undercover right now. Probably assessing what you guys are doing. He is playing undercover. He is an enlightened man. You have nothing to worry. He will take over and he'll run these things well." He just said that and he left. Now, who is this undercover yogi? Who is this undercover monk? Who is there, but they don't know who it is. Now, so naturally, when they started interacting with one another, they started dealing with one another with a lot of respect and love, saying, "Could be this person pretending, hiding his enlightenment, not showing himself. He could be the one, he could be the one." Slowly, they started respecting one another. Slowly, the atmosphere became charged again with love. The entire ambience became a vibration of love and respect, and everybody started coming. Regular activities went on, and there was no need for a leader to emerge there to declare, because what the teacher said, the principles are good enough to run their monastery. There was no need for another person to emerge there. And it was running beautifully. Now, I love this anecdote. This is such a nice anecdote. That every other person, when they were meeting, they thought he could be the enlightened. He could be the enlightened one. He could be the divine person. Let's be with respect. This is very natural in our culture. Our culture, when we meet one another, we say namaskaram, namaste. Namaskaram, namaste is nothing but saying, you are divine. Who is in front of me is divine. I bow down to you. With this respect and love, when we connect with people, the world around us would be much better. So let us do this daily in our worship, in our prayer. Let's perform this yajna of love and respect to the fellow beings. When we do this love and respect to the fellow beings, naturally everything around us becomes much, much better. And every day when you go to pray, whichever worship method you have, when you go to pray, let's say you pray in a temple or in your home, wherever you pray, keep this Manushya Yajna in mind and pray for someone else also in your own little world. See, our culture says, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let the whole world be peaceful. But it is too abstract for people to understand. How do you pray for the entire world? When we are not ready to pray for the entire world, let us understand Loka also means a realm of experience. My world of my family, friends, my organization and the people network I do, my little world. Pray for the people in that world. Every time when you go to pray, for every self-centered prayer, every selfish prayer, add 2 selfless prayers. This is Manushya Yajna. Every time when you go and pray for your well-being, add 2 selfless prayers. Every self-centered or every selfish prayer, please add 2 selfless prayers. This way, the consciousness in us will start expanding. In that world of yours, in your own loka, pray for 2 more people. So every time when a prayer happens within you, when you sit for meditation or when you sit for prayer, you are thinking of a few more people. For every selfish prayer, you should pray for every selfish, 2 more selfless prayers. So if you're going to a temple or you're going on a pilgrimage and you're praying for, let us say, 4 desires, then 8 should be for well-being of others. So like this, start praying. And who should I pray for? Anybody in your world. It could be the auto rickshaw man living in the street corner of your house. It could be the vegetable vendor. Just imagine one day you sit in your prayer and you think of that vegetable vendor, he or she who brings you vegetables daily, and you are praying today with utmost sincerity. Let that person be happy. Let that person live nice. Maybe difficulty should go away from them. Oh Lord, give them strength. And that person may not even know you have prayed for them. That is the beauty of Manushya Yajna. Taking care of the well-being of others at the thought level and at the action level. Thought level, prayer. Good wishes. It could be the vegetable vendor, it could be the auto rickshaw driver, or it could be the person who's bringing milk, or it could be somebody, the traffic constable who's standing in the road. Somebody who is in your world, pray for that person. Every time when you go to pray, when you go and offer your gratitude, sometimes there may not be anything to ask the Lord. You could be feeling fulfilled. So you may just go there to offer your gratitude. When you go there to offer your gratitude, also pray for 2-3 people in your world. Pray with absolute sincerity. This is called Manushya Yajna. Why? Because a thought becomes action. Every action of ours was once a thought. Please understand. This seminar right now, what we are doing, look ahead, was once a thought, isn't it? It was once a thought. Suresh had this thought in his mind. Suresh sustained this thought, called a few people, and all the speakers who have accepted also sustained this thought. Therefore, it has become an action. Every action was once a thought. When a thought is sustained, it becomes action. Not necessary all thoughts will become action, but all actions are definitely once a thought. So when we go there and pray that way, at the subtle level, we are increasing love and respect, good wishes for the other person. Someday, intensely praying, that will manifest. So this is at the subtle level, at the prayer level, at the mind level, at your meditation level. Wish for the well-being of someone in your small world. In your small world, pray. This will slowly expand you to a bigger world, and someday we could be qualified enough with such sincerity to pray for the entire universe. But it starts with my little world. Manushya Yajna, pray for the people around you. And the people whom you connect, please connect with love and respect. That means I see the divine in the other person, and I maintain that respect and divinity. Keeping that divinity, I maintain that respect towards that person. This is called Manushya Yajna. If we do this, that world around us, little world around us, would become a better place. Forget the entire Jagat becoming a better place. Let God take care of it. But He has put you in a particular world, small world around you, in that loka, in that realm of experience, in that kshetra, you contribute goodness. Manushya Yajna. There was one person, a sadhu, who he was doing tapas for a long, long time, and great tapas he did. And one day the Lord appeared in front of him. The Lord appeared and said, I'm so pleased with your tapas. What do you want? Ask. Anything you ask, I'll give you. Ask. The guy said, I'm so happy that you appeared. I had no desire. I have nothing to ask. I do not want anything. I'm just happy that you appeared. That is enough. I had your darshan. The Lord said, if you're not going to ask, I have to force something on you. You better ask something. Otherwise, I'll force something on you and go. Now this monk looked for a while, the sadhu looked for a while, and then he said, okay, I have one thing to ask. Let good things happen through me. See how beautiful this is. Huh? Let good things happen through me, and let me not know about it. Good things happen through me, and I need not know about it. Bless me with that. That I don't even entertain. I am doing good, but let always good things happen through me for the people around, and let me not even know about it. Now, this is the level of sincerity. So we also, a small deed, good deeds, let's keep doing it. Let's not even count what we have done. Let it become our lifestyle, a way of life, doing good deeds, respecting people with love and respect, doing good deeds physically, and at prayer level, selfless prayers. If we can bring this together daily, this is called Manushya Yajna, which Vivekananda also said, serving man is serving God. Nara Seva is Narayana Seva. Serving the human beings is serving God. With this attitude, when we serve, when we take care of small things, that little things what we do also becomes worship. So first point for high living, Manushya Yajna. Serve people with love and respect. And whenever you pray, for every selfish desire, 2 selfless desires. Make it a habit. Make it a way of life. Manushya Yajna. Second yajna is called Pitru Yajna. Pitru ancestors. Let us respect, revere the ancestral way of life, what they have handed over to us. Friends, please think. You have 2 parents, mom and dad, and 4 grandparents. Mom's side 2 grandparents, dad's side 2 grandparents, 4 grandparents. How many great grandparents you have? 4 grandparents, How many grandparents you have? Another 4. 8. 8 great grandparents. One more generation, second great grandparents, becomes 8 plus 8, 16. Your great grandfather's grandfather, if you go, father, if you go, second great grandfather, you will have great grandparents, you will have 16. Third, 32 great grandparents. 4, 64 great grandparents. 5, fifth great grandfather, 128. Do you understand the DNA, what runs in our body? How many people are there in it? We are a product. 5th generation from now, if you go back, there must be 128 great grandparents. How much they must have gone through to preserve their what do you call lineage. Please think how much they must have gone through to preserve their lineage. 5th generation from now goes back to 300 years, 400 years, 300 years, let us say, or even 6th or 7th generation, if you take 400, 500 years. How many wars they must have fought? How many invasions they must have survived? Please think. How much of difficulties they must have faced? How many natural disasters like earthquakes to famine, hundreds of things, they must have survived and managed to keep their lineage. So you and I are a product of so much of effort. Even if we go back to 5 generations, now imagine 1000 years ago also you must have had a great grandfather. So when we look at it that way, these people lived a great life, and whatever struggles they had, they have handed over certain things which are beautiful to us. Imagine the things which our great grandfathers have handed. The culture what we have in India. This culture is not taught in the schools. When you go to a school, it is not taught. This culture is not taught even in the temples. It's taught through your family. The festivals which we celebrate, the schools did not teach us how to celebrate this festival. Family taught us. Duty what we have towards the family, the feeling of oneness, the feeling of bonding came through them. Imagine how much they must have sacrificed, how much they must have served, and it has reached us till date. Certain things are so beautiful, which they have handed over. Let us have respect for it. Certain things they could have faltered here and there. Possible at given data, like we make mistakes in our time, they also could have made mistakes. But we must understand how many good things have come down to us, and we are a product of that. There must be great respect for ancestral way of life, ancestral tradition. Pitru Yajna it is called. What they have lived, respecting their sacrifice, respecting their effort, because I'm a product of it. Right there in the DNA, I do carry their DNA. Having respect for them and respecting that ancestral, praying for them and living those values, practicing those traditions is the way in which we practice Pitru Yajna. What they have given, it has to be maintained. Imagine how many generations it has come to you. It should not stop with you. It should go forward. Please think. And our ancestors, you must understand, are not what we have been taught. You understand? Our ancestors were the first ones to create universities in the world. Takshashila, Vallabha, Vikramashila, Kanchi, Nalanda. Can you see? We created universities. Our ancestors created that.
first in the world to create universities. Our ancestors were the first ones to travel high seas in the world. We traveled across the mighty oceans, did trade, extended friendship. How adventurous these people were. They did not have ships like what we have today with a GPS fixed where you can go straight to a particular location. Satellite helping you. No, the real stars helped them. They saw the stars and they went. They managed it with the speed of the wind. There were no motorized vehicles. They had the sails set in a particular wind. They knew this season the wind will be this side, northeast monsoon, etc., etc. And accordingly, they set their sails and travel, reach that destination correctly. Very adventurous. And we traded with the world. Please remember, our ancestors had a GDP of 32% 1,000 years ago. In 10th century, our GDP was 32% of the world. We were the biggest traders in the world. All our rivers had ports. Do you understand what ancestry we were? And we never invaded anybody. We respected every value, every other country. We went there as expedition. We extended trade, etc. No invasion. We were the first to have universities. We traded across the world. Our GDP was 32%. Even till 18th century, 200 years ago, India's GDP was 25%. It's only last 200 years we came down to single digit. Only competent for us even 200 years ago was China. China had 26, India had 24, China had sometimes 23, India had 27. 50-60% of the world trade happened through India and China. That is the ancestors we come from. And our ancestors, please remember, were the ones who measured the sky first. They knew the astronomy. They knew the distance between the planets. They knew the vibrations of the planets. They knew the distance between the earth and the sun. Our ancestors built the most beautiful, eco-friendly structures. Look at our forts. Look at our temples. How many thousands of years these temples are there, eco-friendly, and it is so beautiful. What precise architect we had. Art, music, dance, architect, trade. We were top, and whole world was coming to us. That's the kind of ancestors we had. We must respect what they have lived for and what they have handed over. We must respect those traditions, maintain them well, and hand it over to the next generation. That is called Pitru Yajna. Handing it over to the next generation is the Pitru Yajna. That these are the noble people who walked upon this earth. They lived a great life and they have given me a beautiful tradition. I respect it. And our tradition, please understand, is not superstitious. It is scientific. Be it Ekadasi fasting, it is scientific. Why fast on Ekadasi? On the 11th day? Because from there, 4 days is the full moon. The digestion, what happens in our body for the food to reach the brain, it takes 4 days. By the time it's full moon, the mind, if you fast on Ekadasi, the mind would be absolutely calm on a full moon or on Amavasya. Otherwise, the tide on Amavasya is high. The tide in the full moon is high. 70% of earth is water. When the tide goes up, naturally the body is 70% water. There is pressure here. People go crazy on those days. So 11th day you fast, then the 4 days from there you're fine. And once in 15 days you fast. That is the best thing you can do to the body. Today a Japanese got a Nobel Prize for telling this to the world. Once you fast for 30 days, once in 30 days if you fast, it is good for your body. You live more healthy. Our ancestors brought it. In 40 days time, one mandala, you should fast 3 times. That means 3 Ekadasis will come. And brilliant. Why on a Ekadasi? Why fasting? So we come from that tradition which was scientific. It's not superstitious. So let us respect what they have offered. And it takes time. It takes great effort for something to practice for such a long time. For a few thousand years, this has come down. We should know to respect it and take it further and not drop it with us. Pitru Yajna would be like respecting what they have lived and taking it forward to the next generation, like a chain, handing it over, not stopping with us. That is called Pitru Yajna. Second, high living. This is one we have to keep. Third is Bhuta Yajna. See how beautiful this is. Bhuta means the Pancha Mahabhuta, the 5 elements. The Pancha Mahabhuta. Take care of nature and all beings, not just humans, animals, etc. Take care of them. They are also coming from the same source. They are also expression of the same divinity. They have also manifested from the same God. Respect it. Take care of it. Pancha Mahabhuta. That's what we were worshipping. Devas. Agni Deva, Surya Deva, Varuna Deva. It goes on. We worshipped the nature. Not conquer the nature. Bhuta Yajna is respect the nature. When we take care of nature, nature in turn will take care of us. Please understand. You protect them, they in turn will protect you. Krishna tells in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he tells in the 3rd chapter that Parasparam Bhavayantaha. You take care of devas, devas in turn will take care of you. Parasparam, by you taking care and they taking care. Parasparam, like this, may you attain the highest. Shreyam avapsyata. May you attain the highest by taking care of nature. Nature in turn will take care of you. This is there, the 3rd chapter of the Gita. You take care of the devas, devas in turn will take care of you. Who are these devas? Agni, Varuna, Vayu, nature. And once we do it, nature serves us. Please remember, this reverential attitude to nature is important from our side. We need nature. Nature doesn't need us. Devas don't need us. We need them. To breathe air properly, we need them. We need greenery. We need clean rivers. We need Varuna. We need Agni. We need Vayu. We need them. We need Prithvi. Those, for them, it doesn't matter. For what does it matter for the river? What does it matter for the sea? Whether we take care or not, whether we are there or not, they will continue to be there. So it is for our existential. We must take care of them, and they in turn will bless us. Protect nature, nature will protect. Exploit nature, we'll get exploited in the end. We saw it right now. Bhuta Yajna, take care of the Pancha Mahabhutas and all other living beings around. Even our old traditional, I'm from Tamil Nadu, and in Tamil Nadu, this month particularly, Margashira, everyone would put lot of kolam, rangoli outside their houses. Traditionally, those rangolis will have rice powder, which the insects and ants will come and eat. By evening, they all would be fed, and they'll all go back to their place. They don't have to come searching for food in your house. Outside, it is served. And it's such a beautiful thing. The lady comes up in the morning, makes her own creative design. It's a beautiful creative field to express yourself how you want. It's a design. And it's all infinity. Most of the columns, if you see, it will connect to infinity. You never know where it starts, where it ends. So the person enjoys doing it. It's a beautiful traditional thing, but it takes care of the small insects. Our culture always taught us to take care of everyone. Be it a tree, take care of it. Be it an ant, take care of it. Bhuta Yajna. Taking care of all beings and taking care of nature. This is our responsibility. We need to do that as best as we can. Manushya Yajna, love and respect and selfless prayer. Pitru Yajna, ancestral wisdom. What traditions have come down, respect them. Take pride for what kind of people who walked on this earth. Bhuta Yajna, take care of nature, Prakriti. Take care of this environment. And it will in turn protect us. We will be beautifully living that way. And all living beings, Bhuta Yajna. And the 4th one is Rishi Yajna. Rishi Yajna, please understand the knowledge what we have. Indian knowledge systems, the books what we have. How many thousand years these books have come down? Please think. How many thousand years it has been handed over? Imagine the Vedic rishis. They first had knowledge maintained through memory. The entire Vedas were all learnt by heart, verbally chanting and listening to it, memorizing it, learnt. And to the next generation, the entire Vedas were handed over verbally. Verbal traditions. There were no written books. First, for a very long time, this knowledge, what the rishis experienced, the divine, telling that you and I are divine, that knowledge was handed over through these Vedic systems, and it was done one generation to another verbally. Verbal traditions. After verbal traditions, when our memories were slightly going off track, we were not sure, we were mispronouncing or mixing up the words. At that time, Vyasa felt this is dangerous. In this case, mispronunciation and the memory not being sharp enough, we may lose the Vedas. He is the first one who said, write it down. And when Vyasa started writing, he had only palm leaves, stones, wooden planks. This is all he had. There were no paper. So this was written one by one. The Mahabharata was written on palm leaves, on stones, on wood, rocks. You understand? This is where it was written. It was maintained. Second phase of knowledge, when it came down to writing, it was maintained in palm leaves, wooden blocks, stones, etc. And that went for a few thousand years. Not easy, isn't it? Today, when you take a copy or you forward something, it is so easy. Today's technology is different to what it was, but they maintained that way. And when it passed through that and finally came paper, not printing press, paper. Knowledge was going into paper, and then came printing press, where became little more easier printing. Otherwise, it was handwritten. Printing, and then it became multiple copies. And today we save everything in cloud. But please remember the journey, with what difficulties that knowledge was transferred from one generation to another for few thousand years, and it is still available. The Bhagavad Gita is still available for us. The Upanishads are still available for us. How many years old? 7,000, 8,000 years old. Look at the journey of knowledge. Ramayana is still available for us. Various ancient books are still available for us. Ayurveda is still available for us. How long? How old they are? It has traveled a very long journey, and it has reached. This knowledge was given to us by the rishis. Rishi Yajna is respecting that knowledge. What was handed over to us all these years, and make sure you preserve it and promote it to the next generation. It should not end with you. It should reach the next generation. Handing it over to the next generation and inspiring the next generation to practice is Rishi Yajna. We should not fail here. That I received the knowledge, but I failed to inspire the next generation. Oh, what is the use of that knowledge? It would have transformed you a bit. But it should be sustained. It should be handed over. We should know to preserve, and we should know to promote it to the next generation. Hand it over to the next generation. That is called Rishi Yajna. Our forefathers followed it till date. That's why these books are available to us. Imagine a knowledge which was 7,000 years old is still there. Rishi Yajna, the fourth Yajna. High living, these four. And the fifth one is called Deva Yajna. Deva Yajna, you and I are divine. We come from the same source. The effect is nothing but the cause. One cause, divine, one reality as manifested as all of us. God did not create this world. God manifested as this world. So you and I are nothing but that divine. Rising up back to that, experiencing the divine within is Deva Yajna. Going back to the source. Where we came from, we go back to the source. Realization, self-unfoldment, seeking moksha, liberation is Deva Yajna. You are divine, seek divine. Perform actions to experience that divinity.
divine. Self-realization, basically, which happens through japa, shravana manana, nididhyasana, listening, reflecting on what we have heard, and practicing it. Practicing it becomes japa, meditation, service. Doing all this eventually would bring us into deep meditation, where the mind can become silent and we can realize the divine. Nirvana, moksha, whatever. That can happen. That is Deva Yajna. If we practice these 5 yajnas, Manushya, beings around us are fine. Pitru, respect the traditions which they have given us. Bhuta, take care of nature and other living creatures. Rishi, value the knowledge which came to you. It has traveled a very long journey. So many onslaughts, so many invasions, so many killings. In spite of all that, that knowledge was saved and handed over. Rishi Yajna. Deva Yajna. You are divine, realize that self through study, seva, etc. My guru gave it the most easiest way to get there. He said, your self-realization, your self-unfoldment comes from study and seva. That is all. Study that ancient wisdom, serve intelligently. Through study and seva, our self-unfoldment will happen. We will realize the self. Deva Yajna. If we perform these 5 yajnas daily, work around it, our life would be so beautiful and we would be worthy living. That is called high living. Living life with high values, aiming the highest. Hi, how are you? Hi. Aiming that. Practicing these 5 would take us there. That's why I said high 5. These are 5 which will take us for high living. It was nice talking to you. Our time went through, and I hand over to Suresh once again.
Thank you, Swamiji. That is a great reminder for all of us. We have a few questions.
Yes, Suresh, go ahead.
How can one do Bodha Yajna by oneself? Isn't the entire community responsible for that? Even if I, as an individual, respect and protect nature, I will not be spared from a flood or COVID.
See, there are 2 things which we have to keep in mind. One is collectively what people can do, and what is individually what we can do. The best way would be to show people by example. People understand more by example than by words. Telling people what to do is not going to work. Showing people what to do will work. So if we become an instrument and we commit ourselves and we start working, the sincerity with which we work would inspire people around us. Doing inspires people, not saying. Doing means it is someone who is practicing. Who is practicing would naturally be more inspiring than a person who says. So instead of telling people, let's start doing. And once we start doing it, people will follow. This is number 1. Because whether people follow or not, I should continue to do. Because seeing me doing, there will be few people definitely inspired, and it will slowly catch up. Every big movement has happened with few small beginnings. 1,000-mile journey starts with 1 step. And when we take that 1 step and when we do, it will go on. Now, one more thing, very important here. When you are doing, please understand you're not doing a seva. You're not serving. That is duty. It is not charity. When we take care of nature, we are not doing a charity. Please understand. We are doing our duty. Unfortunately, it is forgotten. Today, what man thinks is my duty is to my wife, my child, my parents, and the boss who pays me, or the company I run. The duty doesn't end there. There is duty to the nature. We have forgotten all about it. There's a duty to the ancestors. We have forgotten all about it. There's a duty to the rishis. We have forgotten all about it. These are the duties. So you continue to do your duty. There will be people inspired. It will come. Just because somebody around you is not doing,
You don't stop. You don't give up. Continue to do, and there will be people around you inspired. And remember, you are not alone. There are thousands of you doing this today. There are so many youngsters I meet on a regular basis who are extremely committed in guarding this environment, to protect it, to do it. So you're not alone. Maybe where you are doing, you have not networked with these people, but there is a mass movement and things are definitely happening. And the governments are sitting at the United Nations level and discussing climate change. How many seminars India has initiated at the international level on the climate change? So there is a concern and it is happening. So you need to see what is happening also, how so much of effort is going on, and you continue to contribute. People will follow what you do, then what you say.
Swamiji, you said this world is manifestation of God and nobody created. Then how come nobody created it? Then how come the negativities and evil are here in this world? So much sufferings in this world.
Right. See, I said God manifested as this world. God did not create. If you say God created, God is separate and the creation is separate. You understand? The created is separate from the creator. No, that is not how it has happened. The creator himself has become the creation. So God himself has manifested as this world, not that he created. That means the effect is different from the cause. No, here the effect is nothing but the cause. Example, a ball of gold, let us say. From that, if you make a chain, you make a gold ring, you make a ring, you make a bracelet, they are nothing but gold. The cause is gold, the effect is gold. The ornament shape could be different, but it is nothing but gold. So that divine only has expressed us all this. Then why is there negative in this world? That's your question. If that is divine, and in this world I see so much of negativity, why? You have to understand, once upon a time there was a world called Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga was a world which we call as the ideal world. It lived life. There was dharmic. People followed dharma. It was so well practiced dharma, lived. Everything was noble. It was a long phase of time. And then came the next yuga called Treta Yuga. In Treta Yuga, dharma was difficult to follow. There were people who came up again and again to re-emphasize on dharma. And people were fighting, various things came, but dharma, they tried to bring dharma back in Treta Yuga. After Treta Yuga was Dwapar Yuga, where it deteriorated further. The deterioration at Dwapar Yuga was within the family, people started fighting. Within the family, the fight started. So much of conflict within the family. That was dominating factor of Dwapar Yuga. Satya Yuga, absolute dharma. Treta Yuga, between people were fighting, but not within the family. So they were trying to bring in rules, regulations. Treta Yuga went that way. Dwapar Yuga, within the family, people started fighting. Even those close-knit things were breaking down. And then came Kali Yuga, where you fight within. There's a war happening inside between the good and the bad. There's a temptation and your intellect says no, but then the mind dominates. So there is a war. So we have deteriorated from various values. Now, why did we deteriorate? Simple. It is from the highest standpoint. That which you have started slowly comes down. It's a cycle. It will go back. Now, if I am caught in the cycle, I will continue to be in this forever. I should know to get out of the cycle. That is the root of moksha. Where I am in this cycle, and if I continue, I'll be coming back again and again, go in this. Let me exit from the cycle. And why is it like that? Because we wanted it. We are responsible for it, nobody else. Who destroyed this planet today? We destroyed it. Our own actions. Our thoughts are crooked, actions are crooked. Change the thoughts, the person changes. As the thought, so the action. If I am thinking negative, negative actions would manifest. If I start thinking positive, positive actions would manifest. Right now, ignorance is dominating, negative thinking is dominating, therefore, negativity is there. If you say, who created this negativity? You can't say God created it. God gave us freedom, we choose this negative. It's like my teacher, Gurudev used to say always, petrol in the car is the best example. The petrol in the car will not decide in which direction the car should go. But without that petrol, the car cannot go. So without touch of God, nothing can happen. But what we do with that, the touch of God is not responsible. Petrol, without petrol, the car cannot go. But where the car is heading, petrol is not responsible. Similarly, the touch of life which we have, without that, nothing can happen. That touch of life is God. But what we do with that is we as humans who have created it. So we are responsible. And to make it shorter for you to understand, why do you go and see a horror movie, a tragedy movie? Why do you go and watch? Horror movies get awards, right? Tragedy. You go to a movie and they make you cry. 2 hours you sit and cry. Your tissues are dried up. I mean, all are exhausted. So much crying. And you come out crying with heavy heart. Why did you go to a movie like that? A horror movie where you get frightened, or a tragic movie where you come out crying. Why do you go to a movie like that? Because that is also for you an entertainment. You understand? That getting horrified is an entertainment. Getting crying is an entertainment. Okay, simple. Why do you dream nightmares? You're the boss of your dream, right? You are the creator of your dream. You create a dream world and you create a nightmare and you get up panting, sweating. Why? You are the creator. You created it because you did not mean it. You just said, okay, let it happen. It doesn't matter. So similarly, the negativity which has come is we who have created it. Getting caught in it would be a problem. The wise people would know to get out of it. Others who do not knowing it, if they are caught, they go in cycles. So why there is negativity? You only created, just like you created horror movie for your entertainment. Negativity is also created for a kind of an entertainment, and we are victims of it. But we can get out of it.
Final question. One more last question.
Okay.
What you said is something that is applicable to the humanity, but still we think this is Hindu dictums. How to grow beyond this narrow thinking? And wisdom is there in all culture. How to respect each culture and wisdom?
Please understand, we live here in Hindustan. Naturally, that is there in our DNA, and we would express. And whatever was expressed is absolutely universal. It was absolutely universal, and where truth has to be spoken, truth has to be spoken. We cannot hide it. So where truth has to be spoken, we were invaded. That's true. So we suffered. We came back. So you understand various things. The truth is truth. And what we discussed today, the Pancha Mahayajna, is applicable to all human beings. It is not conditioned to one race called Bharatiya, one race called this. It is universal. If the universe, like the law of gravity, is applicable to everybody, it is universal. So the Hindu, what you have called as Hindu dictums, are universal. It is applicable. And when we live that, people will follow, isn't it? Earlier, when we lived it well, people followed it. People have taken it up. Why has the world taken to yoga today? World has taken to yoga because they felt yoga is right. It's our gift to the world. Meditation is our gift to the world. The whole world is meditating. Who introduced it? We introduced it to the world. What we give is universal. We are not interested in converting someone to Hinduism. We only live a nice Hindu way of life, which is a universal way of life that is called Sanatana Dharma. There is no fanaticism in it. And to think this is fanatic is wrong. And we should not shy away from it either. We should be bold enough to say what I say is universal. Law of gravity is universal. The planets go around the sun is universal. Pancha Mahayajna is universal. The life in you and me is the same. It is the same consciousness. That is universal. So what Hinduism says is universal, and people have branded it as Hinduism. Otherwise, they were eternal laws. So live clearly, nothing. And people will follow how they've taken up yoga, etc. We never forced anybody to practice yoga. Did we show a sword or a gun saying practice yoga? We were just doing, they felt inspired, they took it up. Good values, whoever does will take up. If we see some good value outside our culture, we have taken it up, isn't it? So many things. Today, what we are, so many cultures, we are a product of various influences
What is nice, we take up, isn't it? Egypt has something to wonderful to offer, we take. Greeks have something to offer, we take. Please understand, to bring religion into everything is not allowing something good to reach out to the humanity. And we are the custodians of that wisdom, and we need to share it to the world.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, for this wonderful evening, for sparing your time and blessing us. Thank you very much.